You were listening to a Nerd Room podcast, a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. Be sure to check out more from the Star Wars Commonwealth on the web at starwarscommonwealth.com and take your first steps into a larger world. Hey everyone and welcome to the Nerd Room, where we talk all things Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. This is episode number 98. We're discussing our final thoughts on the journey to The Last Jedi. Spoiler free. I'm one of your host, Tim.
I'm Troy.
And I'm Sunjay.
The boys are back at the table. We're finally in the same room together. It is a deconstructed Nerd Room, though. I'm in the process of moving here, and we're squeezed around the table amongst everything, all packed in bins and boxes. But we had to get together, even though I sound like absolute shit right now. We had to get together to discuss our final thoughts for The Last Jedi. We're going to be seeing this in just 48 hours. We're down to counting hours at this point, no longer counting days. By the time this episode hits your ears, it'll be the morning of The Last Jedi. Gentlemen, how excited are you for The Last Jedi? Something we've been counting down towards for the last 2 years.
Yeah, oh man. So excited for this movie. I can't wait. I've been watching Star Wars films pretty much every night leading up to this. Tonight is my favorite, Revenge of the Sith, so that's going down after this recording. And yeah, man, totally stoked.
Do you want some sand?
Hey, sand.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. I haven't really been into Star Wars nearly as long as you two have been, so for me to be this excited for a movie, it's, I really enjoyed Rogue One and, what's the other one?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. I guess you could say a Force Awaken inside me.
Yeah, so this is Sunjay's third film-going experience, night of, for Star Wars. And this is probably going to be the biggest one for you, because you get the universe now.
I know, because I've seen all the movies now.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you need to see, right?
All of them. And all of Clone Wars and all the Rebels. You got to read the comic books and all the books to actually get the universe, right? I'm only kidding.
It's like a 24-hour job.
Yeah. It literally is. I cannot keep up with all of it. It's crazy, though. But I'm super pumped for this, super excited. I cannot wait to get in that theater. Now, our dude, Mark, over at TSW, he's seen the film.
Really?
Yeah. In his job, he has the ability to go and screen movies. So he saw it. He hasn't given any spoilers away. I said to him, I threw it up on the TSW VIP site. I said, just give me one sentence. And he says, I need a second viewing.
Oh, of course.
So by the sounds of it, this is a pretty dense movie. A lot of complexities, a lot of probably changes to some of the foundational ideas about the Force, about characters. And that's some of the reception that I'm kind of hearing. I've stayed away from spoilers for the most part since that not Super Bowl trailer, the Monday Night Football trailer. Right. And this podcast, when we talk about Last Jedi, one thing we're going to do here, completely spoiler free. So any talk is going to be pure speculation. Not speculation because we've seen things in trailers. And I just want it to be this way because I've stayed so spoiler-free for probably the last month, to the point even where I'm avoiding some podcasts at this point. And it's really breaking my heart, especially amongst the Star Wars Commonwealth. But I'm trying to have just an experience with this film because I think it's going to be so different from anything we've seen before in the Star Wars universe. And I want to have that wow factor. So I'm super excited. Like, I've almost gone dark on Twitter. I it's hard to stay off it, but I've done fairly well. I haven't really gotten any spoilers. Have you guys ventured into that part of the world?
No, for the most part, I've stayed away from it. Just basically theories, speculation for me.
Yeah, no, I'm totally dark in terms of Star Wars theories.
I haven't even really grabbed any of the books leading up to this thing. I'm still behind on the Leia book and the Legends of Luke.
Yeah, and the Phasma.
Even Battlefront. I haven't picked up Battlefront, but I've kind of dived on YouTube and
you haven't got Battlefront?
Haven't got Battlefront.
Oh, dude, you don't know what you're missing.
Oh, I know. EA's not taking my money. Those guys have been doing some dirt.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the game?
Yeah, the scam.
The in-play, what is it? Purchases to get characters.
The purchases, the $89 isn't enough. They want to
like Simpsons Tap Out or like Injustice, where you got to buy characters, shit like
something like that. Basically, basically.
I hate that. It's like video games are going that way now.
Yeah, they really are. But the cool thing is, the story mode's done right now, but they're leading more story. I think after Last Jedi, so we get more of that story. So anybody that's interested in that game and the connection, the canon, the lore of Star Wars, be sure to check out YouTube.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
Well, it's one of those things too with the new games, the way that they're going, it's so interactive that they've almost like kind of adopted some of the stuff you get from apps, where you have the in-app purchase, and to make your experience better or bigger. They're not constrained now with the internet and everything, how it's connected. They're not constrained to a cartridge or a disc anymore,
Exactly.
right? So their game could go on really forever.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just
That's
patching
true.
in things, right?
That's true. One cool thing I do have to shout out with this game though is the story group is so tight. You would be familiar with it. I think it's the Aftermath series.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned Han Solo has a beard in that book at
Yeah.
some point. They actually paid enough attention in this game that you do see Harrison Ford with a beard. So they connect all those tissues from each story. So I thought that was pretty cool. You know, a little spoiler there, but I think that's
Is he
pretty
coming
cool.
back?
Well, this takes
is-
place within the span between after Episode 6 and before Force Awakens. So this is basically right after Shattered Empire.
Yeah.
basically.
Aftermath.
Silly
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
How could I let that slip? I'm sorry, guys. I'll step up my game. No more slippage for the rest of this episode.
There you go. There, you get your Star Wars lore right. Turn around. Start reading the books behind you.
You'll see me in about 3 months or 3 years. How long will that take?
You got a little while to catch up. Several days.
If I can
of
find it. Like, look
audiobooks.
at all these comic books behind Tim. I'm going to take a picture. It's impressive to see your comic book collection. Is that mostly Marvel? Is that Star Wars? Is that both?
It's not DC.
No, there's a couple DC in there, but
Yeah.
it's Star Wars and Marvel is the big one. It's mostly Marvel, I would say. Avengers, Captain America probably take the biggest stack, but Star Wars is starting to get up there for me. I've concentrated a lot of my reading lately on Star Wars. I've had trouble finding the time to kind of do everything with the move and everything going on in life. It's just been hard to refocus. So I'm hoping once we get settled down, because we'll be recording next week from the new Nerd Room.
Studio
Yeah.
3.
Studio
the third
4.
one. The 4, actually.
Well,
technically.
Studio 3, I guess.
From the nerd room
Yeah.
core,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, hopefully this one's a little bit more permanent. At least
Cool.
for a bit. It's a bit bigger of a room, so we're gonna have an
Nice.
opportunity to do a little bit of decorating, maybe get you guys input, and it's hard. I'm super excited about it. It's the one thing I'm focusing on really hard in the house. It's like we got this whole house, and the one thing I'm focusing on is the basement. Of
course.
It's got a wet bar.
Oh,
man. There you go.
You're going to have to make some Star Wars themed drinks.
Oh, I will. Don't
Blue
you?
milk.
Do not worry about that. Yeah,
You should
I've got
call it
that
the
covered.
Cantina.
There's exactly. I've even got mugs and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Good to go here. Anyways, guys, before we get into a bit more of that Last Jedi talk, we've got some questions that were really high level questions that we're going to run through and give our predictions and see how close we can get coming out of the back end of the movie. And one thing that we've actually discussed is actually doing a almost live reaction right after we get out of Last Jedi. We're going to take the laptop and microphone, pass it around, maybe have a beer or two, and talk about the Last Jedi, and hopefully release that on Friday at some point. So that's kind of preliminary at this point, but we're thinking that because we're seeing a 6 o'clock showing on Thursday, there's going to be lots of time after. We don't have to worry about rushing home to the kids, or it's midnight or anything like that. Working the next day. So hopefully we can get our live reactions, spoiler-free reactions, right after the Last Jedi.
So, any thoughts, you two, on seeing the movie again on Thursday? Going in and then being like, this was great, let's see it again.
I'll do it.
Yeah, it might be hard to get a ticket at that time, but
There's a lot of people wanting to see this movie?
a few. And we're going to talk about box office here, because this thing is going to kill it.
Yeah.
93 million.
93, yeah, just below the Justice League, eh? That 40% Rotten Tomato. Anyways, we're going to jump into some of the other news that we've missed over the last couple of weeks, because it's been a while since the three of us been together. We've had some guest hosts from Tumbling Saber, Rob Cast from Roman Pod and Cast, and the TSW Roundtable. Phil came on for the Justice League review. So thank you to all the guys that have come and sat with us in the Nerd Room and podcast with us. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm a little nervous because they're really good. Maybe you guys should get like shittier guest hosts so that way I'm not nervous. I get someone that doesn't know anything, and then, well, besides me.
Sunjay, you'll always have a place in the Nerd Room. Don't you worry.
I'm going to take you up on that offer.
Founding father. Well, let's jump into some of the news.
Let's do it.
Spider-Man, the animated film, Into the Spider-Verse. We got our first trailer for that. This is Miles Morales focused. So something quite a bit different than we've seen in the past from the Sony Film Studio, if we want to call it that. It's not really connected to the MCU. It's kind of independent of all that. And Troy, my man, you're the Star Wars. You are a Star Wars guy. You're also the Spider-Man guy
Yeah.
on the podcast. What are your first high-level thoughts on this trailer?
Yeah, pretty cool. I've been anticipating this movie for quite some time since they announced Lord and Miller were actually directing this thing. And, yes,
Lego movie.
Sony's never really... Yeah, Lego movie, 21 Jump Street. So it'll be pretty cool. Sony's never really given us an animated film, though, before. So I was a little worried
They have an
about
animation
that.
studio, don't they?
They do? Yeah, I've never...
Are they like Despicable Me?
I think so. No,
Oh, it's
that's
DreamWorks, I
DreamWorks.
think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Is
Yeah.
DreamWorks at Sony? There's something. I'm sure they
Yeah,
have a
they must
division.
have something.
Yeah.
But,
Sony animated. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go. Where's my phone?
But the team seems pretty cool, and I think it was Donald Glover that's cast to voice act Miles
That's what I
Morales.
thought. I couldn't like it. We probably should have looked it up. That was my first initial thought, but I don't know if I'm projecting that from the past. Like,
Yeah, because I know he's always wanted to play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I know obviously he's playing Aaron Davis,
Yeah.
the uncle in the MCU. But yeah, this movie looks pretty cool. My only biggest beef is when they made the claim that they're making this movie, it felt very standalone-ish. That it's just gonna be Miles, and obviously they'll explain his origin. But the title and then the end of the trailer, they kind of go back on that and kind of have like him talking to Peter Parker. At least that's what we assume. So I don't really like that they're having this Spider-Verse, because Miles is strong enough on his own to stand out or stand alone without having that verse behind him. So I kind of wish they just kind of stuck to their guns, had a Peter Parker before he died, and then you have Miles Morales, and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't want to see like Spider-Gwen or all these other Spider characters come out of the woodwork. I just think they should just do a standalone Miles Morales. But the animation, oh my god,
yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks so cool.
that's good. Like I mentioned to you guys before, they're doing stuff here that we haven't even seen them touch in the Sam Raimi or the Mark Webb or even the John Watts Spider-Man stuff. So
It's looking great, and I love kind of the little clips. I don't know if it's stylized that way just in the trailer, or it's going to be in the movie where it almost does a flash and it looks like a comic book splash page.
Exactly.
And then it jumps back into the 3D animation.
Exactly.
It looks really, really cool.
Really cool.
Really well. That really sticks out to me.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Peter Parker here, because partway through the trailer, they tease that death of Peter Parker, more or
Right.
less. There's a headstone with his name on it.
Yes.
But then towards the end, you see him talking to someone that's assumed to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So with the Spider-Verse, was that something that was a bit more or less constrained by time and dimension? Was that a bunch of different Spider-Men from different eras or dimensions? Or yeah, so it was. So you could have the death of Peter Parker in the Miles Morales Ultimate Universe,
Exactly.
and the 616
Exactly.
Parker coming in. So you could be, doing the Miles Morales story, but also playing fast and loose with time travel
Right.
and dimensional travel to actually have Peter Parker in here as well to
That's
get that
right.
sale of Peter Parker.
Because that's what they've done, right? They had the death of the Ultimate Peter Parker,
Yeah.
and then you get the 616 coming in when they did the crossover event Spider-Man, right? So that's essentially what it looks like they're kind of doing. And the cool other thing is we see Prowler in there for 2 seconds in the clip,
Yeah.
which
really?
it might be Aaron Davis, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my first impression was like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
I'll watch this trailer. When I got done watching it, I was like, this is gonna be great.
It's really cool. The music too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And everything,
I love the music.
and it looks kind of like Batman Beyondish, and also has a bit of that Blade Runner 2049, like
Yeah.
that
Totally.
neon kind of color going on.
Yeah,
there.
a little bit Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
the anime.
The stylization of the animation, I think that to me is one of the bigger selling points.
Oh yeah.
It kind of pulls you into it. It's something different, like you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
They could have approached this very similar to how they've done other movies. Like you mentioned Big Hero 6.
Right.
It kind of
Yeah.
looks a bit like that. But that's like full on 3D animation. It's a bit stylized, I guess, too. Kind of has that Japanese anime influence. But this, again, is taking something different and really pushing the envelope here. I wasn't expecting much out of this.
Yeah.
But this is something I'm going to go see in theaters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Very exciting.
Do you think they could be testing the waters with Miles Morales, see how critically responds or how people respond to this, and then maybe throw him in the MCU? I guess they've already planted the seed.
They have,
with
yeah.
the introduction
Yeah.
of Donald Glover's Aaron Davis, right?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely, I think they will. I mean, DC kind of did this a little bit not at a grander scale, but they did a straight-to-home video of Aquaman, Throne of Atlantis,
Remember
and
that.
then it came out, and then Aquaman movie got released shortly after. So it's a good way to test the waters with their animation.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most excited for is when Disney bought Marvel, you think, okay, this is a perfect time for them to do Marvel cartoons and cartoon movies, and you didn't really get a lot of that.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6, but like you don't see like any of the core characters in animated films or even animated straight to home video films. And if this does well and it looks like it's going to do well and it looks great, then maybe this will open the door for Disney to be like, you know what, we could do like a whole animated universe, because
That'd be cool.
the Marvel animated stuff used to be fantastic. The Ultimate Avengers 1 and 2 with Black Panther,
yeah.
really well done, and the X-Men and Spider-Man cartoons from the 90s are some of the best ever. So
Yeah. Made by Fox, but yeah.
yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
Right?
The buyout.
Yes.
Looks like it's going to be announced on Thursday. So as The Last Jedi drops, we could also be getting news that Fox has been purchased, or a good chunk of Fox has been purchased by Disney.
Yeah.
A $60 to $70 billion deal.
That's
Wow.
a lot.
Like, to
of
put
money.
that into context, they paid $4 for Star Wars or Lucasfilm, and they paid $4 for Marvel.
That's it.
So like we're looking at things that are 15 times bigger.
Wow.
And now Fox is huge. Like our concentration really is on the film studio end
Absolutely,
of it, right?
yeah.
The MCU characters.
Yeah,
and
Fantastic
what else.
Four,
Exactly.
X-Men, right?
Yeah.
And that's such a small piece of it, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at a couple $100 million worth of characters.
That's not even Avatar or Aliens. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And like Avatar fits in Disney too,
Yeah.
right? Because they've already got that thing at Animal
Pandora
Kingdom.
Land or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I kind of touched on it a bit with Corey last week, and this is something that's been ongoing for a while, but it seems to have gotten that traction. And now the most recent news is that it's actually going to be officially announced. What are you guys' thoughts about all these characters potentially coming back to the MCU, and what implications does this have for Disney as a film studio? They're going to own a massive chunk of rights to characters. Like for their streaming service, this is a huge thing for that too, right?
Absolutely.
The catalog they get from Sony, both TV shows, like they're getting James Bond and all that. Like there's a lot
Also,
coming.
James Bond ended up going back to.
I thought they were Sony.
They were Sony.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is jeez.
I was like, shoot, Fox has James Bond.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy.
So confused.
I do not want a Disney
Just
James
assumed that
Bond
Disney
film.
owned everything.
Just
Anyways.
wait 5 years.
We've talked about it before about the idea of X-Men and Fantastic Four entering. We know Mark over at TSW had that great theory
Yes.
of how to
Yes.
bring them in. What are you guys' thoughts now that this is probably going to become a reality within the next 2 days?
Well, I have two thoughts. My first one being a DC guy is, does this spell the end of Gotham?
That's interesting with the Fox one, right?
Because
What the heck
Fox,
happens?
yeah, because Gotham is on Fox TV, or do they just sell the rights to CW and it joins the CW verse?
Yeah, well, it must revert, because much like if Comcast Universal did buy the rights from Fox, then the Fox rights for X-Men would revert back to the original guys, because they only have the license. They don't actually own the
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, they don't own the intellectual property of the character. They
Right.
own the rights to produce a film with these characters in it, or a TV show.
It'd be hilarious if they just made Gotham really bad, and just like make Batman really weak.
Do they have to make it bad?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in many
don't-
years.
me neither.
We used to watch it
Yeah, we
together,
did.
and then like 10 episodes, not even like 5. We're like, yeah, maybe not. And the X-Men universe, I kind of sad if it ends with Dark Phoenix, because that's I think the last film next year.
Yeah, we got some images of that as well.
Yeah, and that looks kind of interesting. Actually, surprised me. Because I really like the X-Men universe. I think it's something different that Marvel and DC aren't doing, and movies like Logan or Deadpool, will we still get those if Disney owns the rights?
I think so. I think you'll see Deadpool continue.
Yeah.
It may continue on its own.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll integrate it into the MCU. Will they be missing out there? Maybe. You could do more of that satirical take on the MCU within the Deadpool universe. Of course, Deadpool 3 is going to reference the idea that I think I'm supposed to be in the MCU now, but they won't really let me in because of swearing and all that.
Yeah.
Like, they could do that route and reference it. You could have a cameo from Cap or Thor or someone like that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I think putting Deadpool into the MCU would be at a detriment to that franchise. They have something real special there. It doesn't really fit with what Marvel Studios is doing, but it still fits on its own. Like Disney can have, they've got, I can't remember the name of the companies that they do produce R-rated movies in that.
Yeah,
just
they
not
have
under
Touchstone or something, right? Yeah.
just not under the Disney banner.
Yeah, right.
So I think it's a good thing. Like it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting. Like one of the theories I threw out last week was that maybe Avengers 4 somehow seeds the idea of the X gene, like from Thanos' attack or something. You get that coming out of those films. So there's a lot they could do. There's a lot of characters. I think they got to be careful though. They don't want to run too fast into this and end up with a ton of movies that don't make sense.
Right.
Like continuity is a big thing. It is a bit looser than it used to be, but they need to do this right and take their time with it. I don't want them to go all of a sudden and be like, let's throw Hugh Jackman in and mix these universes together. Just let's pump our brakes, get the character rights back, and do the right thing with this.
Yeah, I think they need to take their time with it. I don't run these studios, so what do I know? But I think it'd be cool if we full blown get the Fantastic Four back and then go with that theory that Mark put up there, because I love that theory, like incredible. So I say go full blown with Fantastic Four, and I think X-Men, just let it breathe and just take it onto a TV scale. You know, they have that great streaming device coming out.
Yeah.
I think X-Men would be great. Just go with the original cast, give us a TV series, and kind of treat it like the Netflix world, how it's like it's connected but it's not really connected,
It's
and just
like
have the
slightly
mutants
adjacent.
smaller.
Yeah.
Don't have a bunch of mutants, just have like the core small ones, the Brotherhood. I think it's the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And then the original X-Men, and just have them on TV, have a young cast of characters, and I think it's kind of perfect timing because with this Phoenix movie, Dark Phoenix, coming out, I think it's kind of bittersweet, but I mean, they tried the first time to make it in X-Men Last Stand and it sucked.
Yeah.
So, this time they can maybe strike gold and then just end it, and then it's done. And just move on and keep Deadpool where it is, and man, just bring Fantastic Four back bring it to the MCU. I'd love to see their take on that.
They fit better than the mutants do at this
I
point.
agree.
At this point,
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the streaming service.
For sure. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great. And of course Star Wars. We get the original Star Wars now back at home, which is great.
Now we can see who shot first.
And speaking about properties and who owns what and studios and all this, one of the other properties that we've gotten quite a bit of information about, or quite a bit of news about in the last little bit, is Venom.
Yeah.
This movie is apparently happening. Tom Hardy was cast a while ago. I had my doubts that this thing would ever get off the production floor, but apparently it's happening. They're filming it, and at some Brazilian Comic-Con, which a lot of news came out of this past week.
Is he there?
I was just going to say, is he covering it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Instant shout out. I missed that. But then we showed a t-shirt and kind of a tagline and also the title card a bit. So it looks very much like a comic or a proper adaptation of Venom. So I'm curious as to how this is going to roll out, because I'm still uncertain as to how all of this connects into the MCU. You've got now Sony with the Spider-Man Homecoming proper universe. It's integrated in the MCU. You've got this Miles Morales universe, which I think could really, really work for them.
Yeah.
But then also you've got this Venom thing going on. Agent Venom, Eddie Brock, Flash Thompson, whoever it's going to be. They seem to have too much going on, and they seem to try and throw everything at the wall again to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Like Marvel's taking care of Spider-Man. They seem to want to have some control over characters. Like this animated universe, I think they could do wonders with, because they kind of have the ability to kind of tell a more complex story with the animation.
Yeah.
And they could use different characters. You're requiring, your budget isn't huge. It's not the $200+ million to produce a Spider-Man film. So something like that could go really well. This Venom thing, a lot of people are going to be looking for this to tie into the MCU, and I don't think it is.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, going back to the animated series there, it's of Miles Morales. Again, it's Phil Lord Miller that are doing it, and what they did such a great job of doing last time is with the Lego movie is they got the kid audience and they got the grown-ups, which is so cool, and that's something that Sony needs with that division. And the MCU is obviously great, but this Venom movie, I don't know where it fits in this whole timeline. I think they're going to kind of maybe struggle a bit of where this person fits and how do you bring that audience in, especially if Spider-Man is not in this movie. And the two novels or the two comic books that they're basing this film off of both have Spider-Man in there pretty big. So, I mean, they can work their way around it, but I just feel like this is a situation where Sony really wants to do a Venom movie and Marvel's like, no, not yet. Just give it time, because Marvel has set up everything right now where we could get Venom out of their MCU easily, right? Whether it's the Guardians or just through Spider-Man.
Totally. The
or
Collector.
Infinity War.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
everything.
Easily. But Sony doesn't have that. So I think if they're going to do a Venom, I think you just straight up just do a standalone Elseworld and you just do Agent Venom, the Flash Thompson. I think you just let Eddie Brock... You just leave Eddie Brock. I think he's very 90s as it is. And I just don't see him fitting as a standalone with establishing the symbiote. So it's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I really would love to see Carnage on film. Growing up, in the animated Spider-Man series, he was my favorite villain.
Wow.
Him and Dr. Ock. So seeing Carnage, we haven't seen him before. Maybe Topher Grace.
Yeah. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey would be great. Yeah, I think actually Jackie Earle Haley from Watchmen, who played Rorschach.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he would be a good Cletus Cassidy.
Wow.
And I think it'd be really cool if so you start off with Venom. Maybe if you're feeling brave, you bring back Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man and tie it to that universe. Because you could do multiple universes. It's been done before. I don't know when. And then
comic books.
Yeah. General audiences don't care. They're trying to do that with DC back in the day, but Christopher Nolan kiboshed it. But there could have been two
Justice Leagues.
Two Justice Leagues going.
Yeah.
And then I think you tease Carnage, and then I think you have the second Venom movie would be Venom vs. Carnage.
So when you say bring back the Andrew Garfield universe, what do you do with that exactly? Like, because you still have to explain Venom from that world, right?
It was made by Oscorp, like everything
they
else.
actually did show that. They did show the
Really? Venom was there?
There was a little Venom tab in the Oscorp build. So yeah, I guess you're onto something. Yeah, everything came out of Oscorp.
That was the worst.
With Venom, you have to have Carnage in that first standalone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that you want to tease. You get a standalone out of it.
Yeah.
And if it works, then you kind of go a bit further. But you have to because he's got to be an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like, are they going to go like a horror end of it? Or are they going to try to do something that's a bit more like Deadpool? Like, what part of the spectrum is this going to fall on? Like, Tom Hardy can be a funny guy, but he's probably a bit more of a serious actor. So it looks like they're going to go more of a dramatic route with this.
Yeah.
But he's got to be someone that's maybe struggling with these powers, like an Agent Venom. Like,
Right.
sometimes he's out shooting people's heads off, and other times he's out saving the world.
Right. Or even a Spawn route, like an revenge story.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Even, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know what you do with this guy.
I guess it depends on the budget too, right?
Yeah.
If this is 150 million, okay, it's one way. But if it's a $40 million budget and it's just dipping your toe in the water, you could just do a solo standalone Venom where it doesn't involve Carnage because it'll probably make back its money.
Can you do a Venom for 40? Like, you need that CGI.
That
It needs
symbiote.
to look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, because we saw it happen last time.
Yeah. I think I have like 4 action figures from that movie and they're
Skinny
all
Venom?
Venom. Yeah. I'm a big Venom fan. He looks cool. You know, the thing that's going for Venom is his look is second to none.
Yeah.
He has a fantastic suit, the black, the white. It's up there with like the best comic book looks, but
Yeah, it's cool, but I think what made it really cool is the fact that Spider-Man worked first. Like that connection of the black suit Spider-Man, and then you get the Venom. It just it helps, and without that build-up of Spider-Man going through what he goes through, it just doesn't really work for me. I feel like you need to build that up before you just jump right into it.
You're going to see that struggle in whatever character Tom Hardy's playing, right?
Yeah.
They're going to play a bit of that Peter Parker struggling with the black suit, the symbiote, right?
Right.
They have to do that. They have to show that. It has to be your character progression within this, the development of Tom Hardy from someone that maybe originally wears or is infected by the symbiote and kind of goes on a rampage and then slowly finds himself turning into this anti-hero when something bigger like Carnage comes up against him.
Right.
yeah. I mean, if you're Sony and you own the Spider-Man universe rights, but you don't own Spider-Man's being leased out, you have a very select few characters of villains that you could build a movie around.
Like Morbius.
Do you really think you could do?
No, they actually are. That's like I'm not even joking. They actually announced to do a Morbius movie.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like if they tie that into Blade, that's super cool.
Oh yeah.
But if not, oh my!
I know.
Morbius, like the vampire.
I tell you, man, just throwing shit at the wall and see what
Yeah.
sticks.
I think that there's been rumors from an Aunt May movie to the Sinister
Yeah, I
Six.
saw Aunt May
Venom,
movie.
Morbius. Like,
I'd buy the Aunt May steelbook.
Of course you would.
Well, it makes me feel a little bit better about DC. It'd be like, well, we're not Sony.
Yeah. Well, God. We're not the worst thing ever. There's this.
I mean, compared to Dark Universe and Transformers Universe,
Yeah,
it could be worse.
It definitely could be, and I'm not trying to crap all over this film. I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yeah.
Let's see what it looks like. You know, all we've got really is a cartoon looking image of Venom and a tagline, and the fact that Tom Hardy's gonna be in it. So I'm confident in Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
We'll see how this turns out and see how it all. I don't know how it all unfolds in its relation to the MCU, how it relation to a standalone, or what they're doing with this. They just need to bring a little bit of clarity. Amy Pascal over there at Sony needs to give us some idea of what this is going to be. And this might be a fanboy reaction that we're craving. We're looking for that continuity as we build into Infinity War, and we're seeing what DC is now doing with their re-announced slate as far as still trying to go with this somewhat cohesive universe. We're just looking for that same thing. So maybe that's not something we really need. We may see Deadpool succeed in the absence of that, and I think we really are. And him reconstructing his own universe around his own characters with Cable and Domino and that. So it is possible to do a universe like that, a siloed off something that isn't connected to something bigger, going back to the individual character trilogy. So maybe we can see that with Venom.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to Deadpool, if X-Men universe stays the same as it does, I doubt it will, but if it does, I don't want to see Deadpool cross over. As you said, I think it deserves its own silo, and it would be weird seeing Deadpool show up in, like, the Phoenix Saga or something. It just wouldn't fit.
No, I think he needs to be in his own little world, making references to what's going on in the other movies, but that breaking that fourth wall type of reference, not directly referencing that this event affects this film.
Absolutely.
So, one thing I want to talk to you before we get into this new DC film slate is Punisher. Now, I just finished this series up, and Troy, I know you're about,
7 episodes?
7 episodes in, so we're not going to go into any spoilers here, but I wanted to throw something on the table that I really enjoyed this. This thing got kind of beat up at the start. It doesn't have the greatest Rotten Tomatoes score, and people are saying, it's a bit long, it's kind of got some inconsistencies in there, it really weighs heavily on the PTSD and soldiers coming back from Afghanistan, but at the end of the day, John Berthel as Frank Castle is unfreaking real. Like, he is so good. Like, I am enamored by his presentation and his performance of Frank Castle. It is so good. It's ultra violent in some scenes, particularly when you get towards the end, like super, super violent. But you feel for the character of Frank Castle, and you just get this, whatever John Berthel's able to do with his character. It's such a good portrayal. And it just got announced for season 2. So my recommendation, like right now, I just wanted to throw it out there, is go watch this. I had a lot better time getting through this. Like, I watched this almost straight through. Like, it was to the point where I'm up to like midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock, trying to get through episodes because I'm like, I gotta see what happens next. I haven't done that since Daredevil season 2.
Wow.
Even with the Defenders, I struggled to get through the back half of that. This is good. You could probably, like we always say, you could probably knock out an episode or two and condense this a bit. But at the end of the day, go check out Punisher. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
I love it. I feel like they handle the PTSD like nothing else I've ever seen before. They really hammer away at it, but it's so good. It's so real too, how it feels. And John Berthel, the acting that he does, all in his eyes too, just everything he does with this character is incredible. So I really like it. I'm only on episode 7, so I don't know if there's a twist or not, or where it's going exactly, but I do like his partner as well.
Micro.
Or at least Micro too, but his buddy that he also worked with in the war.
Oh, Billy Russo.
Yes.
He's good.
He's great.
Yeah, all the characters
great.
are strong in this. You get Karen Page is back from...
She comes back there,
both Daredevil and Defenders is back into this. She is really great. All the supporting characters are awesome. And there's a couple of storylines that kind of run parallel through the first 6 or 7 episodes, and they eventually all cross over very organically, which I like. Yeah. It's at first I was like, okay, there's a lot going on here. How is this going to connect up? Is this guy going to be someone? But it eventually all crosses over and all makes perfect sense. Nice. You see all these characters coming back together. It's really, really good. Really well done. Yeah. Netflix has done a smart move, assigned this John Berthel up for a second season of Punisher. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's my number 2. It rivals Daredevil for me, actually, at this point. It's great.
Wow. And you can go into it almost blind. You don't really need the context of Daredevil season 2. It kind of wraps up a bit of it at the start, so you have a bit of a question mark as to why Frank Castle's like this, but it gives you the context of everything as you go through the series. So you don't need really any of the other Netflix series to jump into this. This is almost a standalone, I'd consider.
Nice. I might have to check it out.
Yeah, I would. Definitely.
The only Punisher I've seen is a Dolph Lundgren Punisher, which is a pretty awesome movie. But the other two,
like Warzone
with like John Travolta and stuff, I haven't seen those.
I've honestly never seen any of them.
Yeah, neither have I. They just, I don't know, they kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah, I think I seen Warzone a while back. I can't really remember all those. I never saw the Dolph one though.
I think like the second one made like 10 million at the box office or something. Like something really low like that. Wow. It's crazy how under the radar.
He's a kind of a funny character. Like it really suits this Netflix environment of TV watching, because it needs to go to those ultra violent ends. Like I'm talking. Like you haven't got to the end, but like it gets
crazy,
really, really violent. Like just like parts where I'm kind of looking away.
Wow,
it looks horrendous, but they do good with it, and it's not a complex story, but it is an emotional story. It has some really great scenes in there. They kind of reinvent some of the stuff that they've been doing in the Netflix series. They're not super dependent on that close quarter fighting.
Yeah, okay.
They really let Frank Castle just go with it sometimes. And yeah, like I said a couple times already, go check it out. Definitely. Yeah. All right, man. Let's talk about DC.
Let's talk about DC. It seems like our weekly segment. Should we talk about Batman v Superman for a bit?
Yeah, we haven't touched on that in what seems like days.
They should make Batman v Superman too.
They should. I'm surprised it's
Return
not
of the Martha.
What'd you say?
It makes sense, okay? At the end of Captain America: Winter Soldier, something similar happens too. Okay.
Yeah, but they're not arguing over the fact that their mothers are named the same name.
Maybe they should have been the same name. We don't know that Captain America and Winter Soldier's mother don't have the same name.
I'm fairly certain they do. Anyways, down at this Brazilian Comic-Con, DC decided to throw out a version 3.0, 4.0 of their film slate.
Yeah, here we go again.
It looks like they're progressing with a cohesive universe post-Justice League. So somewhat of a disappointing release.
I think very disappointing. Yeah, I think they're expecting. Let's call a turkey. Is that a thing?
I'm sure what it's what now.
Let's call turkey a turkey. They probably should have been made double what it's made. So yeah, I'd say I'm disappointed, and I own 0 shares of Warner Brothers. So I imagine shareholders are pretty pissed.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at this, because this slate here looks like it probably should have been what they did from the start almost. and save Justice League. Because when you look at this, you got Wonder Woman 2 next year, or not next year, a couple years, 2019?
2019, yeah.
Yeah, November.
Starting filming 2019.
Yeah.
Or 2018.
Then you got Aquaman. They still got Flashpoint on here, which is interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Justice League Dark is still on the film slate.
Jeez.
Suicide Squad 2, Shazam, which we know we're getting some actor announcements here. That's coming in 2019 as well, is it not?
Yeah, it's starting filming, I think, February in Toronto. So look for that. It looks to be the next big thing.
Yeah, we got the Joss Whedon Batgirls on here, Green Lantern Corps. So we got T's in the Justice League. And also still on this slate is the Batman.
The Batman.
So who's playing Batman at this point? I don't know. If this is fall after Flashpoint, are we going to get something like
surprise
the Jeffrey D.
announcement?
Morgan?
Well,
I'm Batman.
and Jeffrey D. Morgan came out saying I'm in Flashpoint, but then Ben Affleck is also mentioned to be in Flashpoint, but he's not going to be in the Matt Reeves. So it's like DC, like what is going on?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Here's what I'm thinking they could do: is Ben Affleck as Batman at the beginning. They do the whole Flashpoint movie. They go back in time, and then the new Batman turns around in the chair, and then it's just like go from there.
But we see Jeffrey D. Morgan be like the Flashpoint Batman.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we see two Batmans in the film. Well, technically we'll see three Batmans in the film, right?
Yeah.
So we see the original, which is Ben Affleck's, and then Flash goes and changes the timeline, and then we see Jeffrey D. Morgan has now become the Batman, which is Thomas Wayne, because Bruce Wayne died instead of Thomas Wayne, which is going to be confusing.
I think general audiences might have a hard time trying to adjust to this.
And then at the very end, when Flash corrects the timeline, at least that he thinks, we see a younger Bruce Wayne, much like the New 52. Right?
Yeah,
so everyone's like 10 years or 5 years younger.
It makes sense because it's kind of hard to...
This is the guy with the in-depth knowledge of DC.
I just mean like DC has some missteps, and having like a older Batman to try and kickstart your universe when he's kind of like your most popular character doesn't really strike me with a lot of confidence. Honestly, I think Batman v Superman should have just been like a standalone Elseworld story, and then just have it out there.
It should have never happened. You should have never jumped into a Batman v Superman movie film with an older Batman that hasn't even had one film under his belt in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Because like that comic book, why there's so much weight to it is because you've had years and years and years of these characters, and they've had a relationship the whole time, and now they're finally really butting heads to the point where they're beating the out of each other. Whereas this film, we've never had a Batman. We don't know anything about Batman.
Yeah.
When they gave us Man of Steel, it was established that there's only been one superhero, and that's Superman himself. There was no other universe. It's just meant to be a standalone film. So, man, they've been missing direction and vision this whole time in this universe. And I liked the last movie. I really liked Justice League. I don't feel like it's the movie that did a disservice to the success of the box office. It's the other films, because nobody's really liked those films, and they've had enough to this point that like we're not seeing this movie.
Yeah.
Flashpoint for me, if it's done right, it can course correct.
Yeah.
It can take the mistakes, similar to what they did with Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
They can course correct the universe, but they have to do it in a way that people get. You can't bringing in all these complex comic book arcs and ideas, and again asking the audiences to make those big leaps. That was one of my issues in Justice League. You're asking the audience a lot. You have to deserve that, or have to earn that, I should say, from the audience to make those big leaps. If Flashpoint is all over the place, then it's hard, because even with Days of Future Past, you got it because you were familiar and connected to that original X-Men, and you had some connection to the McAvoy and Fassbender X-Men.
You've had years with these characters.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you kind of got all that, and even though it was a bit confusing going back and forth, they centered around Hugh Jackman, who had by that point been Wolverine like 8 times or something.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a character just centered around time travel that people are familiar. So you ground that for the audience, and you ask the audience to go on this ride with Hugh Jackman, and you get his perspective. They don't have a perspective character yet, as far as I'm concerned. And if you're swapping out Batmans, it's going to make it really difficult for the audience to follow this through. You need something to follow through time travel that you're familiar with to help you ground. Like Back to the Future, you're following around Marty McFly the whole time, right? So that's your character that you know is that character, and as he bounces around the timeline, you're with him and you have that perspective of you.
Right.
And things are changing around him, but he is still that character. If you have a Batman that you try to center this around, or Flash that people are like, whatever, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, because Flash should be that character. Really,
should be, but if you don't have that connection to him yet, because you've only had it in
one film,
half a
really,
movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like Wonder Woman is the obvious choice, but in the storyline, her and Aquaman are kind of bad.
Oh yeah.
They like fight each other. They create a whole world war. They like drowned all of Europe.
Yeah. Superman skinny.
Superman like lands in Metropolis instead of Smallville, so he's not really involved.
The government has him on lock or something. Right?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like if you read this just comic book, there's a lot of cool different changes, and DC always does really cool stuff with their characters in Elseworld stories, where you take Superman and instead of him landing in Metropolis, he lands in Russia.
Yeah,
and you got a really cool story based on that.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you should read Superman Red Sun. It's
I haven't. You gave it to me.
Did I?
Well, I read it. She lent it to me.
But yeah, speaking Flashpoint, I think they just need to do a standalone Flash movie where like Gorilla Grodd's the villain or something. Give us good solo movies. I mean, Aquaman. We saw the first picture. Jason Momoa looks jacked as fuck.
My comment was on that. It was that Jason Momoa just showed up like that.
Yeah.
Like they didn't do any makeup, nothing. He just showed up and was like, "All right, let's shoot this rock and roll." Like that's how the impression I got. He just showed up like to set with no shirt on.
Yeah.
He'd already had all the tattoos put on him from Justice League. And just been like, this is who I am. They're like, we got to put the white and yellow streaks back here. No, it's good.
Nah, I'm all good.
Can you take that ring off? No.
I was like, is that a Green Lantern ring? Because it looked kind of green.
Yeah.
Aquaman, I think, has a lot of pressure on it because if James Wan delivers and he gives us a good movie and it's a big hit, then I think Warner Brothers, the executives, will be like, okay, there's still value in this franchise. But if audiences stay away because DC has become so toxic that even good reviews can't save it, I think we get Shazam and Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad because they'll all be filming before Aquaman gets released, and then I think that's it. It's a lot of pressure on Aquaman and for James Wan to deliver.
Yeah, but even if it delivers, it's still gonna be a hard time. Like right now, DC is going the route where Spider-Man 3 left off. And the audience was starting to check out. They gave us Amazing Spider-Man 1, which was okay, but the audience still was checking out. And then they gave us Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was even worse. And the audience was done. And then, thank God, Marvel stepped in. And Sony came to their senses, and we got this reboot. And everybody loves it. And I'll stick to it still. I still think they need to reboot it because the amount of money it's going to cost to do any kind of Flashpoint, you're just spending money to make a movie to reboot a franchise anyways.
Sure,
the only thing that's successful is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, you're talking about cutting your losses.
I say cut your losses. And just start off with a standalone Batman and build that up because Batman works. It's proven it in the past.
And at the end of the day, you can keep that Wonder Woman movie and just ignore the Justice League and Batman vs Superman.
Keep having
and just have that. Just say we're going to take this, slide it over to this new universe because it happens in the past. Yeah, has no real implications for what's going on in the future as far as those films. Yeah. So let's just keep that, like kind of like what they did a bit with when they mixed up Days of Future Past. Right? They kept some of the older stuff and bits and pieces as they time traveled back. But then they got rid of some of the other stuff that they didn't like. So I think it can work. You know what? This slate, when I look at it, there's some good films in here. Some stuff I'm excited for. But they just need to get their shit together. And, Justice League, like, you go back to our review, we were quite favorable for that movie, myself included. Like, there's good elements in there. It was just a little mixed up in the editing.
Absolutely.
And there was a story in there that deserved at least an audience. And it didn't quite get that. And that's going to be a detriment to this film slate, but I'm happy that they're at least forging forward with something and trying to take that corrective action. If they can get a good showing at Aquaman, like you said, at Wonder Woman 2, tweak Suicide Squad so it actually is something that is what they're marketing, and not something with Pirate Joker.
Yeah, Pirate talking Joker.
I think the Warner Brothers execs just need to stay away. I mean, Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Justice League, all these have been brought down by Warner Brothers executives. And they just need to let the directors direct their movies. Because when they did that with Patty Jenkins and Wonder Woman and Zack Snyder and Man of Steel, we got two of the best films of the whole universe. So,
There's always going to be interference, though, right? Executive
I think there's good interference, there's bad interference. Coming in and saying Justice League has to be 2 hours when it's already shot, bad interference. Coming in and saying, like, oh, I think we should... I can't even think of a good interference. I don't know what they've come up with that's good. Warner Brothers. I'm sure Disney has good interference. Kevin Feige saying, "Oh, I think we should do this," and it works. Yeah, okay, that's good.
What they tell Joss Whedon, they said Joss Whedon wanted the Wasp, and they're like, "No, we want Black Widow."
Yeah,
it work,
And good sometimes it doesn't work. You look at Age of Ultron. They said, we need the Thor bathtub scene,
right,
or no Hawkeye stuff. And they just completely ignored all of that in Ragnarok, and. So it's fine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Just how you course correct, and if they can do that with this film slate, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, as I said, it all starts with good films.
Yeah.
Audience will forgive you if you're making good movies. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
X-Men has corrected they went from X-Men 3 Last Stand to Days of Future Past and First Class and and the Wolverine and Logan and Deadpool. So, it can be done and it has been done. So hopefully, it all starts with Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2, and Suicide Squad 2. So let's get those 4 movies out and
give us Nightwing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not on there, but we've been hearing casting rumors and location shots. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for Nightwing. I think that could be really cool. If you had Nightwing, Batgirl, and Batman all come out with movies in the same year. Because Batman's 75th anniversary is coming up in a couple of years.
Nice. I just had his 75th.
It did.
Had it. Yeah. I got the action figures.
Oh, maybe it was 80th then. We'll say
80th would be like another 2, I think. Another 2 years.
All right, so we'll say 80th then. We'll do
there
it.
You go.
And Cap's 75th right now, right?
It was last year or 2 years ago. I think it was the same year we started the podcast.
Right, okay.
2 years ago. Almost to the day, I think.
There you go.
Happy 2 years, my room.
Happy 2 years.
So speaking about franchises here, there's another big film coming out next year that we got our first trailer for. And that is Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom. And, the first one was a runaway success. It held the title for biggest box office opening until The Force Awakens came out, topping out Avengers, which was a surprise to a lot of people. They took a lot of elements from the original Jurassic Park and put them into Jurassic World, which is, I think, what hit home with a lot of people. It's capturing a bit of that nostalgia and retelling a story that a lot of people really love, myself included. I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. It literally directed me into my career.
How many people could say that? Yeah.
It had that much influence on me, that film. I wanted to be a paleontologist. Found out you don't really make a lot of money being a paleontologist. So I switched over to oil and gas geologist, and that's worked out fairly well. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Jurassic World 2 trailer?
Well, I'll start with Jurassic World. I saw that movie when we were in California and opening day, and we were amazed that there was like 20 showings, and we're like, is there really that much like hype for that? And it was like lined up out the door, and I was like, oh my god. And I really like Jurassic World. It's my second favorite Jurassic Park movie, and part of what made Jurassic World cool was that they actually gave us a working amusement park with dinosaurs in it.
So they did something a little different.
Yeah, they teased it for 3 movies, and we're like, let's see it in action. And then they gave it to us, and then it all goes to hell. As Jurassic Park movies tend to do. And then so with this one, I was like, okay, maybe they'll give us like the amusement park again, but maybe in like a rogue country or something, like North Korea opens the Jurassic Park or something. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, this does not really interest me. The CGI looks fantastic. The dinosaurs look the dinosaurs, they've nailed that.
Yeah.
They're just always pumping out good dinosaurs.
Lots of new species that we're seeing in action too.
Absolutely. I mean, you had Tyrannosaurus Rex and raptors, and I can't think of any dinosaurs.
Ankylosaurus saw rolling around in there, Carnotaurus.
Just trying to get you, some dino cred.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really doing it for me, which isn't to say it still can't salvage itself. It's just the first trailer. And from the director or one of the producers said all the footage we've seen is just from the first half of the movie. So maybe the second half will be a little bit more enticing, but it just feels like a retread. It feels like been there, done that. Give me something different. Give me something cool. Maybe dinosaurs in space. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the wrong demographic for me. I've never been a dinosaur guy, let alone Jurassic Park.
Whoa!
I know, but the first one, the first one for me, I thought was pretty cool as a kid. I loved the way those dinosaurs looked back then. I thought they looked incredible, and the John Williams score was one of the top ever scores, right? It's fantastic. I didn't care for 2 or 3. I saw bits of 2, and I thought it was kind of ridiculous. And then I didn't like the latest one, Jurassic World.
Yeah,
I didn't like it at all. But I was late to the party because there's so much hype for this film. So when I finally sat down to watch it, I was like, Disney wants this guy to direct episode 9? Get out of here. So thank God they fell back on that decision. But but the trailer for me, it's not a bad trailer. It just doesn't really appeal for me. Like, it's not going to get me in any seats to see the film. But I agree with you. The dinosaurs look incredible. Like, it's unbelievable how well they look.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt's doing Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
They kind of have like a Rogue One moment in here with like the dinosaur takes out the bigger dinosaur.
Yeah.
Or the bigger dinosaur takes out the smaller dinosaur.
Yeah. Episode 1.
Is that, or because Rogue One trailer? Remember when we see the AT-AT and they're like kind of trapped, or the AT-AT is about to take them out, and the bazooka. I think it's the bazooka, something like that, right? But other than that, it's okay. The like you mentioned too, the sound was kind of off. Like, the Black Panther movie or trailer, like it hits,
Yeah.
right, and then here it doesn't line up with what they're trying to do. So that's kind of a little off for me.
Yeah, and the music, they try to hit that same tone that they did with Jurassic World, is mix in that original John Williams score here, but they almost take a step into the horror direction with this. So there's Jurassic World was a lot more, I'm not gonna say family friendly, but it didn't have that same kind of jump scares that you got from the original. This one, they seem to be doing a lot more of that, and you hear that with the really sharp toned piano and all that.
Yeah.
And they try to mix in a little bit of that score. It just doesn't hit it for me.
Yeah.
So that's one of my issues too. But I agree with you guys. The dinosaurs are great. I don't really want to say anything bad about this, but it feels like you said, Sunjay, a retreading of 2 and 3 combined. It's got a lot of elements of 2, which was the Lost World, where they go out and try to take the dinosaurs from Site B. They kind of have in the containers. They have the T-Rex. We see almost the same thing. He's kind of tranquilized sitting in there. It looks like there's a team that's gone to the island to take the dinosaurs, to take them back to mainland, which is the whole plot of 2. And then you've got also the combination of 3, which is them going to the island to try to save something or someone, which is the whole plot line for 3. So it seems like they've taken both of those movies and merged them together. The problem with the Jurassic Park franchise and Jurassic World franchise is, what do you do after the park implodes?
Yeah.
And that's always been the stumbling block, is that you have this concept, this idea, and it doesn't work. So what do you do next? And they seem to be retreading again only what you can do. They're bringing back Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm, which is great. I love Goldblum and everything.
Yeah.
So to me, one of the things they could have done, and I think I've said this before, is, have you ever seen Monsters, the Gareth Edwards film? It's like,
No,
it's kind of an indie film. It's fantastic. It's about a guy, it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's about a guy that essentially has to travel from one part of the States to the other. And what's happened is that something's come down from space and exploded in the US. And basically they built a wall in Mexico, and they built a wall somewhere else. And the US basically becomes this walled off version of this world that all these monsters inhabit, and people kind of go across it. How cool would it be if the dinosaurs are, like, we go 5 years in the future or something, they've made it to mainland the US, and there's a chunk of the US that is just Dino Land.
Yeah.
And
That'd be really cool.
You have to go in, they have to go save something in there. So you take something that they did a little bit of in the Lost World, was bring the dinosaurs to San Diego.
Yeah.
And you have them running around kind of in an environment that's familiar to most people. And yeah, I think it'd be cool if they had this like overgrown New York or something. Like, think about
Like a District 9 or
what's the Will Smith movie?
Cloverfield?
Oh, I'm Legend?
Yeah, I'm Legend.
Yeah.
Something where like it's all grown over and you've got dinosaurs roaming around New York or parts of
That's what I want.
of the US. So it's something a little bit different. It's not this like military take that they're thinking about going. It's let's take the dinosaurs, let's create a lost world in our world.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Like, I think that would be really cool. We don't have to keep going back to the island, because it looks like they're also doing something weird about the island exploding.
Some volcano or something?
Yeah, so they're kind of teasing a bit of like the extinction of the dinosaurs, right?
Right.
And the thing that bothers me the most is that when they're running down that hill from what is called a pyroclastic flow, this thing will just melt you if it hits you. Like, it just
Nerd.
But like Chris Pratt's like sprinting. This thing's traveling like 300 miles an hour, and Chris Pratt's sprinting away from us. I know it's
Chris Pratt.
No, only Tom Cruise can make that run. Man.
Yeah.
You seen that guy run?
Yeah.
But anyways, Jurassic World, I'm gonna see this in theaters.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
Yeah.
It's something that, like, going back to 93, that was one of my, Jurassic Park is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Perfect.
And it is perfect. It's a damn near perfect movie.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to support this franchise. We'll see where it goes. Chris Pratt's great. I think the hardest part is going to be the storyline.
Yeah. Did you hear about the leaked script for number 4? One of the scripts they didn't go with?
It was that military thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they were going to turn the dinosaurs into, like, military...
Well, weren't they planting that in the last film?
They teased a
little bit.
I was like, where's this franchise going?
Yeah, so, like, in the leaked script, they give these dinosaurs, like, metal vests, and they send them out to, like, a drug lord's house, and then they, like, attack him when he's, like, in his jacuzzi, and they rescue, like a kidnapped girl. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, this sounds horrible.
Like Planet of the Apes, they have their own.
Yeah, but I was like, but I kind of want to see it because it sounds so bad.
They did quite a bit of that in Jurassic World, right? Like, Chris
it
Pratt's
was
character
so
is training
out there.
raptors.
That's what I thought they
Yeah.
were doing. That's what. Yeah, I was like, oh.
I was saying maybe they could have done that. Maybe, Rogue Country trains dinosaurs and then they attack.
Yeah, no, I like what Tim was mentioning, like that.
What do you mean? You know what? Okay, I'm gonna make my own movie about dinosaurs getting trained by the military. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
That was so not subtle.
Oh man,
I love you, Sunjay.
You know what? Okay, fine. I'm gonna make Dino Army 3, and you guys are gonna be laughing when I make it so good that Star Wars is like, "Hey, do you want to direct the new Star Wars?"
Yeah,
And I'll be like, "Sure."
it's almost worked for Colin Trevorrow.
all you need is one hit movie. They're talking about Taika Waititi now too.
That's what I heard.
Are you serious?
That's what I heard.
One hit movie.
I would be so.
Jeez.
Anyway, Jurassic World 2 comes out next year. 2018, I believe. It must be because we got a trailer
That would
for
be
it.
next
So
year.
June or July, I think something. So I'm going to be there. We'll see. Hopefully we get another trailer that kind of entices us a bit more.
Yeah, 2018 is shaping up to be a pretty good year.
It is, but we got to get through 2017 first. And you know what that means?
Pitch Perfect 3.
Yes.
We're back, pitches.
So we're going to do a prediction. No. We're going to get through The Last Jedi here, man. We've got, like I said, 48 hours. The countdown is on. We're going to be down to minutes as this podcast drops. I cannot wait for this film. And one thing that we thought would be kind of fun to do to kind of lead into or end this journey to The Last Jedi for us here on the podcast is kind of throw out some of our predictions. And I'm going to say spoiler warning here. But it's not because we're taking information that we know from TV spots or any trailer beyond that last trailer 2, the TV spot trailer, or the one that was on the football game. These are just theories that we've been talking about for 2 years and things that were seeded in The Force Awakens and things that we want to see resolved in this film. So it's going to be fairly high level, but I want to do this because I think it's going to be fun to pass around the mic after the film and see how close we were to these predictions and see if we were anywhere near the mark of what Rian Johnson has put to screen, because apparently it is really good. You're saying, Troy, before we recorded, like 96 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
The reviews, I haven't even really looked at anything for reviews, but I'm hearing really great things. And of course, it's a Star Wars film, but they're talking about very different things. And hopefully we get some of these answers, these ideas that were teased in The Force Awakens, and some of these ideas that Rian Johnson himself has teased, because he's going to be helming this universe, or going forward in this universe for this new trilogy. And he already said it's not Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes. Well, he kind of did. He did, but he didn't. You know? But I know what you're talking about. I know exactly, because I felt like he kind of addressed it, but then like the media like went somewhere else, and like the headline was like he's not doing it, but when you read it, he doesn't actually say like he's not, because at the end of the quote he says, "I have no idea what I'm doing."
Yeah,
you know, like I don't know what I'm doing.
You can touch on pieces of it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot riding on this film, and for Rian Johnson, it needs to be successful to get that fan, that confidence that we need in this guy to take forward and drive this universe in somewhat of a George Lucas position. You know, if we can call it that, because he's going to be driving the narrative of that new trilogy, of something that we're going to be talking about for the next 8 years.
Right. By he's directing the first one and writing the 3.
Yeah, so he's going to be he's acting as like it's the same thing George Lucas did in the original trilogy, right? He directed the first one. He oversaw the rest and kind of directed them too. But anyways, one thing that we always like to throw on the table prior to going into a film is our box office prediction. This thing is going to be a juggernaut.
Yeah.
It's going to do gangbusters. Is it going to do the 248 million that The Force Awakens did? What's your prediction here, Sunjay, for The Last Jedi?
I'm going to say, like, opening weekend, obviously?
Yes.
I don't think it'll be as high as Force Awakens, because I think Force Awakens was a long time coming for Star Wars. We've been waiting for 10 years, was it? 15 years? A long time. And so I don't think it's going to be as high. I still think it's going to be amazing. I'll say 215.
Ooh. And it was 240 was Force Awakens?
I think 248. I think it was just... It's either 248 or 252. I think it was just shy of the 250, though.
Jeez, yeah, this is the tough one. I don't know if we can do what Force Awakens did, just because of that anticipation level.
Yeah.
That I think it's 10 year
absence,
gap, right, from Revenge. So, 232 I'll land on.
232.
Yeah, 232.
215. I'll split the difference here. I was thinking around 223.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking here. Because I'm at work, and my boss and another guy I work with, both looked at me and said, "When's the Last Jedi come out?" I said, "It comes out this Thursday."
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we gotta get our tickets." And these are guys that the last movie that my boss saw in theaters was The Force Awakens. So it's
Did you like that one?
He didn't like it.
Oh, okay, he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Really? Oh yeah, because you said he thought it was too much like the original.
Yeah, he thought it was just a retread, which there's parts of it, but I said I completely disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can take this job and shove it.
But yeah, I'm thinking 223 for this one because it seems to have that word of mouth. It's got that build up, not quite the same level as The Force Awakens, but this thing's gonna definitely top out at 200. And yeah, we'll see where we all land with that.
Nice. Can't wait.
Exciting.
I gotta see it like 3 times this week myself.
Yeah. So going into this, let's talk. We got a few questions here, and we'll try to rapid fire these a little bit. But Troy, who do you think Rey is?
Oof.
What's your prediction?
Oh man, this one's tough. This is like the $1 million question. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Going out of Force Awakens, I thought, she's a Skywalker. She's Luke's kid for sure. I just watched Force Awakens the other day, and now I was like, could she maybe just be like Han Solo's kid? Even like nothing to do with Leia, just maybe Han did something else. I really don't know. I don't know where she could be tied with.
Throw someone on the table.
Yeah, let's see. I'll say she's somehow connected to Palpatine for right now.
Oh,
somehow.
okay.
She's not a Kenobi. I'll throw that one out there, and she's not a reproduction of Anakin of some sort. She's not a clone.
Of the Force.
Yeah. So I'll say she's either a complete nobody or she's somehow connected to Palpatine.
Okay. I would say that she is Darth Vader. Darth Vader, when he died,
A reincarnated?
Yeah.
Or maybe Darth Vader had a kid who became a Jedi who is Rey.
Like Luke and Leia?
Or maybe Rey is Luke and Leia's kid.
Oh man, stuff just went off the rails as my voice gets deeper and more raspy too,
and angrier.
All right, well, we'll leave that one on the table.
If it happens, you guys owe me something.
You'll
for
never
calling
know. Probably not. Drawing a line with you here.
Yeah.
I think she has something to do with Palpatine.
Yeah.
I think that what we saw in the early trailers with Luke fearing her a bit,
Yeah.
and what you see in The Force Awakens with Han, I think that they took her away from Luke.
Right.
And Han and Leia actually hid her.
Okay.
And Han was out there just meandering about, kind of always watching her.
Yeah.
There's a connection there.
There's a connection, exactly, because watching it back and forth, like Han eyes her up and down and offers her the job, and he's really fond of her, much like he was fond of Greer, I think it was, from Bloodlines.
Yeah.
There's definitely a connection between those two, but Leia has no idea who she is, though, because when they see each other, like, there's just nothing between them. I mean, I know she hugs her before she hugs Chewie, obviously, but there's not really much interaction between them. But the Han and Rey connection's massive.
Yeah, and there's something there because Kylo seems to know who she is as well.
Right, and there's a reason why they cut from Maz Kanata when Maz says, "Who's the girl, Han?"
Yeah,
like there's a reason why they cut that there. There's something.
So okay, we got
all right,
an off-base theme, our theory here. That's
just
you watching Game of Thrones lately?
And we got Palpatines here. So given that, this might be a more difficult question for Troy and I to answer, but will Rey's parents be revealed, and if they are, who are they? I'm gonna throw this one to you, Troy.
Why not me?
We'll get to you.
So will they be revealed? Oh, see, going back to Battlefront 2 here, and I don't really want to spoil anything, but it is a spoiler alert. In that game, you do play as a certain character that is led to believe at the end of that game, she lands on Jakku, and she has a relationship with somebody throughout the whole game, and you're led to believe that they had a kid on Jakku, and it's a girl, and Kylo Ren actually confronts the father at the end of the game and says something like, "Where's the girl?" So everyone's been going crazy, like, that's Rey's parents right there, boom, 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 boom. But I don't really believe that. I think it's all like a setup. I don't think you're going to make that reveal on a video game.
Good God, no.
You're not going to do that in a book or a video game. You're going to do that on the big screen. So who could Rey's parents be? Again, it'd have to be an unknown in that case. I did mention before maybe she's related somehow to Palpatine, but again, it wouldn't be necessarily Palpatine would be the dad. There'd be like a middle man or a middle couple between that. But oh man, it's so tough to assume who it could possibly be. So I just have to say an unknown, but someone connected to the Palpatines.
Well, I know who her dad is. It's Jimmy Ray.
Jimmy.
And then she'll go up to him and be like, "Are you Jimmy Ray?" You know?
I don't think Ray's her name. I don't think Ray's
No, shut up.
actually
Ray's her last name.
I think maybe at the end of this movie she'll have a name change.
Well, way to ruin the joke.
Like kind of like a Finn, or they did this with Daisy on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was named Skye for a while.
Oh, okay.
And then they flipped her into another character
Oh.
called Daisy Johnson.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they found out who her actual parents were, and they're like, her name is actually this. It turned out to be a character actually from the comic books.
Crazy.
So you could do something like that where Rey is just a name that she adopted once she got to Jakku.
Right.
Similar to the way that Finn was given that name as well by Poe.
Exactly.
In The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So it's not something that they were born with. It's not a Christian name.
Yes.
So, for me, I think we're going to get a reveal of sense. But is it going to be two humans that procreated Rey? I don't think it's going to be that simple.
Right.
I think it's going to be something a bit more complex. They teased some ideas in Aftermath about what Palpatine was doing.
Right. And Jakku.
And Jakku. And that could... Like, it's not a coincidence that they had Jakku be present in Aftermath. Now, part of it was telling the Battle of Jakku, that story.
Right.
But there's a significance around Jakku the same way there's been a significance around Tatooine.
Yes.
Like it's like a convergence of the Star Wars universe. It's a nexus point for that universe. And Jakku seems to be filling that similar role in this new trilogy as being this nexus point for a lot of things that happen in this timeline or at this point in the timeline. So, I know we're kind of all sitting on the fence because we just have absolutely no idea. But I think there will be a reveal, and it's going to be something along the lines pointing at Palpatine, having something to do with the birth of Rey.
That's right, because we've had Bloodlines now. Was it Bloodlines? No, sorry, Lost Stars, and we've had the Aftermath series that have all been focusing on Jakku. I mean, Rey's obviously left on Jakku, so there is some kind of connection. And Palpatine's been been after Jakku.
Yeah,
had some dealings on Jakku for quite some time.
And
right?
the Falcon was on Jakku.
That's right.
These aren't, as far as these aren't storytelling coincidences.
Yes.
These are set up for a reason. There's something to do with Jakku. Like, could we revisit Jakku in a flashback of sense in The Last Jedi? I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get some answers, but I don't know if they've come out and said that they're gonna give an actual answer to it, but I think they're going to give us enough that we're satisfied, but they're always going to be teasing a little bit more. And I think that might have to do with the connection between Kylo Ren and Supreme Leader Snoke.
Right.
So, and that's my next question. Who's Snoke? Like, who do you think he is? Is he as important as we've speculated about for the last 2 years? Or is this simply going to be an original character that is just in the background pulling the strings? Like, is he going to be as important as we think he is? There's been theories that you yourself even, Troy, threw out there about him actually being the first Jedi.
Yes.
Or part of that original order.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, are you still sitting on that?
I am. And actually, another cool theory kind of came up that kind of supports that theory is he could be Revan. He could be Revan. He could have been one of the last Jedi from that era, from the Old Republic 3,000 years ago. And he's Revan. He's mingled in the light and the dark. There's a sense of connection, with Malachor. We do know that Kylo Ren's lightsaber is the old lightsaber that's based off of like the artifacts of the old lightsabers from Malachor. In the games it was called Malachor 5, but I think in Rebels it's just Malachor something or another. If you look at Kylo Ren's helmet, it's kind of similar to Revan, and his master is Snoke. So he could be Revan, I don't know, but I do still like the theory that he could possibly be the first of the Jedi, but he's the last of the original Jedi. Ooh. So I still do like that theory. But then obviously, you have the opening crawl to Force Awakens. It says Luke, the last Jedi. So,
yeah. But they could do a little bit of duality too, right?
They could.
Is that, is Luke the last Jedi of this generation, he's the last Jedi of that generation, or they flip it and you have the first Jedi and the last Jedi.
Yes.
So you have them going head to head here,
Right.
where you have the first Jedi of the original order in some form, whether it's not his actual body,
Right.
whether he's transformed himself into something different. But it'd be kind of cool that, the Last Jedi versus the First Jedi. So
Yes.
you could play on the words a little bit there. They could both be the Last Jedi of their individual generations,
Right.
or the Last Jedi of a particular way of thinking.
Yes.
Before kind of the seismic change, which we're going to get probably in this film again. So Luke and Snoke could be paralleled quite a bit. Is that Snoke was the last of the original Jedi Order before the shift in how the ideology was broadcasted or was practiced. And then you go to Luke, and he's doing the same thing. Is that he's changing how the foundation of the Force is actually portrayed to the universe or within the Jedi themselves.
Yes.
So I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff there. And I think we're going to find out that he's probably an original character,
Yeah.
but he's going to have deep ties to the original Jedi Order.
Yeah, because I think he's probably, next to Yoda and Maz, he's probably going to be one of the oldest characters in the Star Wars universe. Yeah.
Sunjay.
Well, Snoke, he's wearing yellow, right?
Yeah.
In the trailers. Gold. So I think...
And a ring. He has a ring.
And
He
a
has
ring.
Yeah.
So I think he's Sinestro.
There you go.
Boom.
A
Crossover.
yellow Green Lantern.
Well,
A yellow lantern.
just to clarify here, I think I forgot to mention it when we started this. It's a beer per question. User buys.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys like 30-cent bathtub beer.
Yeah.
Because you'll be getting it.
Jeez.
That sounds tasty.
Now, one of the big things going into the film here, a lot of speculation around this one from the early days, and the posters have kind of pressed on this a little bit. Will we see anybody change sides? You've got Kylo, Rey, and Luke are the ones leading this. We're fairly confident that Snoke's going to be the leader of the First Order from beginning to end. Leia, we'll talk a little bit about her, but she's not going anywhere. Poe, Finn, very committed. Phasma, very committed to the First Order, Hux, and all that. So these three characters, we've seen them maybe see the idea of a redemptive arc for Kylo Ren. There's been some ideas that Rey may be tempted by the dark side, and you're going to see a flip of both of these characters before the end of the film. There's been people questioning the placement of Luke Skywalker on the posters, taking up that normal position of the villain. So what are you guys' thoughts on any one of these characters actually switching sides? And at the end of this movie, we have a dark side Luke or a light side Kylo, or Kylo and Rey teaming up. What do you think could happen there? Or are we going to finish this story in similar sense to The Empire Strikes Back, where all the characters are relatively the same, but we've gone through a big transition in them, a big development in them, but they're all still on the same side?
Well, I would say that I think Kylo Ren is going to turn good.
Yeah?
And I think Luke's going to turn bad.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think you're going to get really cool. Like, Luke Skywalker will show up at the end dressed in all black, kind of like a nod to his father. And Kylo will be dressed in all white. And that'll be it.
You and I were almost on the same page.
So close.
So close.
To the wardrobe.
So close. Much like you, Kylo Ren, I think if anybody turns, it's Kylo Ren. I think he would somewhat come back to the light. The novelization of Force Awakens, after he kills Han Solo, he's still conflicted. He still has these feelings of the light and the dark in him. So obviously killing Han didn't solve that matter, what he's feeling on the inside. If that didn't do it, then he still possibly could come back to the light. But Luke, I think Luke is a lock. After Return of the Jedi, he's not going to the dark. He's a full-time Jedi. He's on the good side, maybe even gray, but I don't see him going to the dark side.
Would that ruin it for you guys if Luke Skywalker turns bad?
For me, it would. I wouldn't like
Yeah?
that. I wouldn't want to see Luke go bad, because what would make him go bad? Everything he's gone through up to the point of Return of the Jedi. If none of those things made you go bad then, what could possibly make you go bad now? I don't see it. And I don't see Rey going dark either. What I could see for Rey is maybe Rey and Kylo partnering up, and they're both like not having it with the light or the dark, and they go on their own path together. They could kind of have, again, and that's the Old Republic kind of not, but they could kind of have like a Bastila and Revan moment where they take off together and do their own kind of things. So,
Like
or they have like a connection.
Or like make love.
Maybe.
You're really hoping for something really different.
My Star Wars movie would be amazing, guys.
You're more of a Spaceballs.
Which is also a great movie.
For me, I really think that most of these characters they're gonna go through a big change, but I think it's gonna push them further into the size that they're on. I think Kylo's gonna go quite a bit darker in this, and I think Rey's gonna walk that fine line. And you may see some temptation in there, but I think you're gonna see that same resilience that we saw with Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy in Rey. Is that you're gonna see her using parts of what would traditionally be considered the dark side, emotions, anger, these type of things. The same way we saw Luke use them in Return of the Jedi to defeat Vader. So I think you're going to be playing fast and loose with what traditionally is the Jedi ideology and the way a Jedi should act and how they're supposed to be portrayed from the original trilogy. But I think they're going to start to really steer away from that. I think Luke's going to fall into that same category, is that he's going to think that the original teachings of the Jedi are flawed, and therefore we need to end the Jedi or whatever it is. It's time for the Jedi to end.
Yeah.
But sometimes stuff in trailers don't make it to the movie.
This is true.
But
this is a huge line.
Yeah.
Like, this has to be in the film. It's the context that matters. It's all relative. Like, he could be talking about this certain way of the Jedi life that he was brought up under Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda to think was the right way. He's maybe found something that says, well, these teachings weren't right. This doesn't make sense. You need to embrace some of that emotion to make a decision. You need to work with both the light and the dark to have a balanced approach to life, to being a Jedi and wielding the Force. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. So you're going to see a change in Rey, because we're all expecting, or you could be expecting her to be the Jedi that we're used to, the brown robes.
Yeah.
But I don't think Luke or Rey are going to be the Jedi, that Jedi. You're going to see a shift there towards something different. And I think Kyle's going to go really dark towards the end of this. I think that he doesn't kill Leia, but that Snoke or someone does, and then that just pushes him over the edge.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with all that, because I feel like, I don't know much about the Legend stuff, but I feel like since the Disney buyout, I feel like everything they've been putting out since has been questioning the ways of the Jedi. If you go into the Darth Vader comic book, everything, right? The Bendu, all those things. You go back and you look at the prequels, you really have to question the Jedi. Like, they were pretty ignorant with what was going on. So that would lead into Luke's kind of discovery of the new way of the Jedi, right? And on going against the teachings of what was from the old. So I'd totally be down with that.
Yeah, you're right. Like, every piece of media that we've read has been almost building and preparing the fan base for this change in this film.
Yeah.
Like, even, like you said, the Bendu with Rebels, Kanan, Ezra, all these characters kind of walk that line. You look at Ezra, like, there's a lot of emotion in those characters, in those Jedi.
Yeah.
And that's not something that is usually, like, if you go back to the teachings that are portrayed within the original trilogy, it's not about the emotion. Don't let, anger is the path to the dark side.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot more of that in this film, but switching directions a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm ready for this change.
Yeah.
Some people maybe aren't, but I think to progress the narrative of this and to avoid maybe some retreading, they need to pave a new way for this franchise. And I think it could be very controversial. We could see this dividing the fan base up quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But wait and see, I guess, on this one. Wow.
Can't wait.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Speaking about Luke here, will he ignite and fight with a lightsaber? Sunjay.
Absolutely. Because the marketing and the merchandising would be off the charts if he had a lightsaber again.
Well, we all own these Black Series figures with rounded hand pegs.
Well, we don't know
what
could be in
would
there.
fit into very nicely.
Yeah. Many
he does have
other
that cane
things.
thing.
And his belt. His belt even has the hook.
Yeah, the hook.
Yeah, for the Holt, right?
Maybe he's getting older, so maybe his belt, he needs to hold his pants up now. And,
suspenders.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it'll be a different color.
What color? Because I'm going to go somewhere with this, and this is a theory that I'm going to borrow from Mark at TSW.
Cool.
It's gonna
King
be,
of theories.
It's going to be rainbow.
Rainbow. Just going to be all different colors.
It's all the colors. He's just like, fuck it. Oops. He's just going to be like, hey, screw it. All the colors. Give me all your lightsabers. And it's, how like every time the lightsabers get more and more lights, This one will be like a star or something, like just like 8 points of light just shooting out of this one. It's very unpractical, but that's just the way it's gonna be.
Burn myself every time.
As long as it's not like the Inquisitors that spins, that's fine by me. Yeah, hands down, he's gonna make the lightsaber. I think it's gonna be the green one. I think it's gonna be the green lightsaber right there. That's in this nerd room, and much like Rogue One, when we got the Hot Toys Vader, that toy was advertised with no lightsaber. I still think it came with no lightsaber, but obviously we saw him in the movie. He had the lightsaber, so everybody was speculating, are we gonna get a Vader without a lightsaber? No, like he got Vader with the lightsaber, and it's one of the best moments ever.
I love that
in
scene.
Star Wars. Yeah,
So
it's one of the best, and I think we're gonna get something like that even more so with Luke, because we got to get Mark Hamill with the lightsaber going just ham with this thing. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. One of the theories that Mark over TSW tossed out was that it's gonna be white,
Ooh.
Much like
Ahsoka's.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that it could be as a result of him bleeding a crystal back the same way Ahsoka did with the Inquisitors. I think it's the sixth brother.
yeah.
When she bled the crystals back from the red, now it's a white.
Oh, so whose crystal? His original, like
Or
his green one?
Vader's?
Because supposedly, is it the necklace he wears?
Yeah, there's something there. Yeah.
It's like so some people speculate it's the red kyber from Vader.
Yeah.
That he holds with them.
So
So you're thinking he might
that
take that and
or
bleed it
the
gray?
other chunk of it. Is
Oh,
maybe I don't know, something to that effect.
Okay.
Like I like that idea
Yeah.
of it, and I really think they're gonna try to parallel Empire. We can have a moment with Luke and Rey where Rey has a vision. She sees Finn and Rose or someone in trouble. She has to go to the supremacy of the ship to save them. Luke says, "No, your training's not finished." You're gonna do a lot of that Yoda Luke thing,
Right.
But I think that what the difference is we're gonna see Luke show up at the end, and that's when he's gonna ignite the lightsaber.
Okay. Yeah, he has to. light it.
Everyone's gonna be like, oh my, like this is Empire, this is Yoda. We're not gonna see Luke again, and then boom, he arrives, and then that leads us directly into Episode 9, where you have Luke with the Resistance fighting alongside Finn, Rey. Like it's
Because he's making it out. Luke's not dying.
100%. That's
He's not-
that's
yeah.
one of my last questions is who's gonna die? Will anyone die? Well, maybe I'll start with this question before we get into will anyone
Okay.
die. Will we get a conclusion to Leia's story? Are they going to leave it ambiguous?
Ooh.
I'm pretty certain she does live, because I think when they going way back into this whole new trilogy from episode 7 to 9, episode 7 was meant to be Han Solo focused, and then 8 was meant to be Luke focused,
Yeah.
and 9 was meant to be Leia, unfortunately. But with the unfortunate circumstances with Leia, they already they already wrapped up the whole filming for episode 8. So I believe it's now up to not Rian Johnson but J.J. Abrams to figure out a way how to exit out Carrie Fisher. So I think Carrie Fisher is fine in this film.
Yeah. What do you think, Sunjay?
Yeah, I'll agree. That sounded legit to me. As opposed to your second question, will anyone die? I think some stormtroopers may die.
They might shoot each other.
Yeah.
by mistake.
I'd
Well,
say
they'll probably
that.
miss.
Oh, well, there you go. I think Leia myself, I think that they're going to make heavy reference to her death, but not be explicit about it. And leave enough ambiguity that you could walk into episode 9 and have maybe some sort of funeral procession or something that kind of gives that honor to Carrie Fisher, to Leia, but also you're not having this on-screen death type thing. Like, I don't think that's fitting.
Yeah.
You know, we're about a year removed from her death. And so a lot of people still feel that, and they still have to be very sensitive towards that.
Yeah.
And we've been promised, you know, a fitting end for Leia in this trilogy somewhere. Whether or not it's here or episode 9, I don't really know. I'm sure there's people out there that could tell us one way or another that they've maybe alluded a bit more to it being in this film or the other. But I think they're going to give her story, her overall arc, a conclusion, enough so that the fans are satisfied and that they could do something, again, very respectful going into episode 9. So I think that, yeah, she will pass in this film as well. And as for anyone else, I agree. I think Luke's going to make it out of this one. All our main characters going to make it out of this one. Phasma included. You know, maybe Hux bites it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I
could see
will Snoke make it out of this? I think so. I think you need to save a bigger battle for episode 9.
Yeah.
And if he is the supreme leader, he probably needs to be a part of that. Unless they're going to bring Thrawn in or something.
Right.
I don't think they are, but
Poe, but maybe Poe could possibly bite it. I know in the first draft that he's originally meant to die in episode 7.
yeah.
He's someone that could maybe see him kill off. He's had a decent run going on with the comics. What issue they're at? Pretty high up there.
25, 30.
Yeah, so he's someone that's had a lot of attention. Shattered Empire, they introduced his dad and mom.
Yeah,
I believe so. He's a character that if they wanted to, we've had enough of him. Yeah, I could say at least if they want to kill him.
Well, and that's the thing too is we had talked about this in the past about like Infinity War and all that. Is do they need to have a character death that brings stakes back to the Star Wars universe? They need to bring something that makes you feel like anyone can really die. And yeah, we had Han Solo die in the last one. I didn't really see that coming.
No, not at all.
I was a character I was like, for sure, we're going to be through 3 movies here and maybe we'll get the send-off, the Han Solo send-off. Yeah. It was appropriate for the moment, I think. Yeah. But to me, that still leaves the door open for really anyone. And, they're going to move towards a direction where they want to walk forward in this universe without the original trilogy characters. But they got to give them the proper send-offs. It's not time for Luke. Maybe it's time for Leia. Snoke, I think he's going to make it through here. Poe, I think you're right. I think right now, Poe and Hux would be the two I would say are somewhat expendable in the film.
For sure.
I'm hoping not. Yeah. But we need to bring some stakes to this, and that's the way to do it is character deaths.
Definitely.
Or you could bring someone back from the old trilogy, like the second.
Lando.
Yeah. Where's this guy?
I was thinking Jar Jar.
No. Well, he actually had a good conclusion in the aftermath.
Yeah, they ended he ended up being some clown.
Yeah. Kind of sad.
A little bit. All right, gentlemen, we're about an hour and a half here, so I want to wrap this up.
Yep.
Last thoughts on The Last Jedi, Troy?
Oh man, I just can't wait for this film. I think this is going to be the best in the new trilogy. I hope we get some cool Force Ghosts popping up. Those kind of talks have been down, actually. I remember going into it, everyone's like, we're going to see a Force Ghost Obi-Wan or a Yoda, Anakin, but those talks have gone down. I hope we do see one of those 3, whether it's Yoda, Anakin, or Obi-Wan. But I just can't wait to see this film. I can't wait to see the trailers. I can't wait to see Infinity War trailer pop up on the big screen.
Yes.
Black Panther and maybe a Han. No, I don't think we'll see a Han Solo.
No, I don't think so.
No, they'll save that.
They want to take. They don't want. Yeah, they can't put that in front of.
Yeah, they gotta keep the attention on. The Last Jedi, and I just can't wait to see Luke. We gotta see Luke Skywalker here now pop up in full effect because we didn't get that at all. I just revisited Force Awakens and we didn't get enough of that guy. Is an interesting end. But we didn't get enough of him, and we got to get him full blast here in this film. So
yes, we do.
Can't wait for that. I think Kylo Ren's going to be a standout in this film, and just can't wait to see the growth in these characters in this next installment in this franchise.
Coming in when you guys asked me like, "What is your excitement for this movie?" and I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty excited." Sitting here talking with you guys, I'm a lot more excited for this movie now. I'm like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, there you go. Force tripping over there.
They need to drop F-bomb in Star Wars.
No filter.
All the kids would just be like, "Oh my goodness!" The parents would be like, "What the hell?"
No, man, I'm right there with you, Troy. Sunjay as well. My anticipation level for this is through the roof. I hope I don't sound like this all of this week. Like I don't feel the greatest either, and of course it's happening. I get this convergence of things in my life happening, but I'm really looking forward to what this film is going to do for the franchise as a whole, and to see characters like Luke come back, Leia. I agree with you. I think Kylo Ren is going to be great in this. We're going to see a lot of progression in Rey. And then there's all these other characters like Poe and Finn and the Phasma arc and this new character Rose and Paige. Yes. There's so much in this film that have just been teased from those trailers. And I just think it's going to give the community so much to chew on going forward. And then we get some follow-up comic books.
Yes.
I'm stoked. I can barely sleep at this point. I'm counting the minutes. I just want this film to be here. We've been waiting for 2 years. Yes. We've been talking about it for 2 years. The community is at a fever pitch at this point. Everyone is kind of on eggshells, wandering around, hoping that this film delivers the way we all expect it to. And at the end of the day, there's 18 of us, 20 of us going to see this film together. It's going to be one hell of a time. And make sure you guys look out for our follow-up reactions. Hopefully we're able to execute that and get that done and drop that on Friday, so a day after this podcast actually drops. And hope you guys have all your tickets and are really looking forward to The Last Jedi. I know you all are. And we really look forward to hearing your thoughts on The Last Jedi, because we're going to be back next week to review The Last Jedi. This is always one of my favorite reviews of the year, is talking Star Wars. This has become a yearly occurrence at this time of year. Cannot wait for it. So if you guys would like to toss some of your ideas, some of your thoughts on The Last Jedi, you can always hit us up at thenerdrm@gmail.com. You can comment on our Facebook or YouTube pages. You can hit us up at thenerdroom.net, leave a comment there, or send us a voicemail. Send it to the NerdRM, and we'll play that right here on the show. So really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to think about The Last Jedi. And I also forgot, you can hit us up on Twitter too. Our handles are at the end of the episode, except for Troy the Last Boy over here.
You could also send us a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Bring that back. Or
That's right.
a telegraph.
They need an address, though.
Send it to the birds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they all have our address now because of the Christmas.
Oh, yeah. So one thing that we never really talked about is that the Star Wars Commonwealth, all the hosts got together and we're doing a Sith Myth. Sure, that's close enough. Gift exchange. So on our Christmas week episodes, every podcast is going to be opening up a present from someone else on a different podcast. So it's a Secret Santa, where everyone's kind of still waiting for their presents. They're coming in within the next few weeks. I got mine off, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So tune into every single podcast during that week. We're all going to be talking about The Last Jedi, of course, still, but we're still a couple weeks removed here. And so as we go through the holidays, we're doing this kind of fun exchange and to see what everyone gets. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the way that it was set up, it was so that no one on the same podcast was exchanging gifts. It had to go between other podcasts. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got, I think 20 or so people partaking in it.
Wow.
So a lot of hosts in the Commonwealth. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to tune into everyone else in the Commonwealth and Talk Star Wars, Tumbling Saber, Generation X-Wing, Rogue Squadron Podcast, Skyrim Podcast, and San Diego Sabres Radio Podcast, as well as us, The Nerd Room. So yeah, check out that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Is it a Sith Miss or a Hanukkah?
Oh, I see what you did there. Look at you.
First
Like
time
that.
tonight.
I like that. That's good.
Love it. Love it.
Took me all episode to think of that.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I combine Star Wars and
There you
go.
All right. For The Last Jedi, this is, man, I don't even want to wrap this up because I don't want to stop talking about it. I want to spend the next 2 weeks talking about it anyways. So, anyways, until we're on the other side of The Last Jedi, for the Nerd Room, I'm Tim.
I'm Troy.
And I'm Sunjay.
And thank you for entering the Nerd Room and enjoy Star Wars The Last Jedi.
And this is our last podcast in this Nerd Room.
It is. Yeah. We'll be moving to version Studio 3 by next week for the review of The Last Jedi. Anyways, check us out Friday. We'll be there. We out.
This has been a Nerd Room Podcast production. You can find our hosts, Tim, Troy, and Sunjay on Twitter at TheNerdRM, TroyTheBoy87, and Sunjabby. For more content from the Nerd Room, check out thenerdroom.net. And don't forget to subscribe to the Nerd Room on iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube. Be sure to head over to StarWarsCommonwealth.com to find more podcasts in the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network, including Talk Star Wars, Tumbling Saber, Generation X-Wing, Rogue Squadron Podcast, Skyrim Podcast, and San Diego Sabres. Follow the Star Wars Commonwealth on Twitter at SW Commonwealth and take your first steps into a larger world.